Hey, welcome to Subspace Transmissions. This is Tyler.
And I'm Cam.
Cam, we just hearing news that Quentin Tarantino had actually pitched an idea for Star Trek over to Paramount.
He did?
Well, we actually discussed this on the podcast about 2 years ago when the Nerdist first did an interview with him, and he actually pitched an idea about essentially bringing yesterday's Enterprise to life on the big screen. That was his pitch.
Right.
I don't believe...
I've got a pitch too, Tyler.
Yeah?
I call it City on the Edge of Tomorrow.
Ooh, okay. I'm sure that I can get my best of both worlds pitch in on Paramount as well.
No, you got to call it something slightly different.
The rest of both worlds.
That's right. Now we're talking.
But Cam, we discussed this before on the podcast, and we can send some links if you guys just follow down below. But what do you make of Tarantino's involvement here in Star Trek?
I don't know. Like, I'm excited to see what someone who's so original would do with the franchise, but at the same time, I'm like, is this what I want to see Tarantino doing?
Well, all he's doing is a pitch, right?
Sure, far, yeah.
The web news is saying, yeah, that's the official term, web news.
Web news, interweb.
The news is saying, though, that he is essentially pitching an idea and Paramount's going to assemble a writer's room. So this is not going to be our tour Tarantino writing and directing this, if this comes to fruition. It's going to be essentially his idea that is going to, be given to life by another director, another writing team, for example.
Right.
I think this is good, though. I think it's actually good for the health of Star Trek, in that I think the big problem with Star Trek Beyond was the marketing. They didn't really, as much as I thought it was a perfectly fine, delightful movie, they didn't have a good marketing hook there. I think if you're just marketing it as, hey, from a story by Quentin Tarantino, that actually sells it a lot for Paramount. Keep in mind, this is a brand new CEO at Paramount, which is why I think that they were not quick to give the green light to the Doug Jung and Simon Pegg follow-up to Star Trek Beyond, which the script was in the can like quite some time ago as well. Yeah,
if you're also like an established brand, like say Star Wars or the Marvel movies, you can kind of do what you do and audiences are going to show up. But if you're a brand like Star Trek, you can't just kind of deliver acceptable films. It's just people aren't going to show up. You need to do something like Matt Reeves with Planet of the Apes, where you really just swing for the fences and try something new and exciting. And I think J.J. Abrams did that in 2009 when he relaunched Star Trek. I don't think the sequels have really aspired to that level of creativity. And I think, it's unlike the Planet of the Apes films, which seem to build with each new sequel, I feel like the Star Trek ones have kind of dropped a spot. Beyond was better than Into Darkness, but it still didn't feel like they were climbing. And I think a Tarantino idea, at least, is probably better than maybe anything they've had so far.
Yeah, and I wonder if there are misconceptions out there, though, that this is going to feel like a Tarantino film where they're going to be dropping F-bombs nonstop. Yeah. This isn't Star Trek Discovery, But
Star Trek into obscenity.
Yeah. No, I think this is essentially, he's just got a kernel of an idea, and they're going to get another team to assemble this idea into a reality. I think this actually makes it much better chance to get a Star Trek movie made under the current regime than anything else we had come before that. So I'm actually hopeful. I think there's I'm intrigued by whatever Tarantino's idea is. I just don't expect to have essentially like a Pulp Fiction follow-up out of this. This is not going to be a science fiction version of Reservoir Dogs.
My favorite comment about this news story was someone saying, I really want to see characters talking for minutes on end. And someone commented to that with, you mean like a Star Trek episode?
Yeah, talking for minutes. Oh, darn.
Sounds like TNG.